Hey everyone, so we are doing a boho faux lock situation. We're gonna see what it really turns out to be, but so far the back half is done. I'm a faux lock girl. Faux locks is my favorite style on me. One day I plan to lock my own hair, but until then, faux locks it is. So I normally do like a bob length faux lock, and that technique is pretty simple. Wrap it down, kind of fold up and start wrapping back up. This is a little different. I've had longer faux locks before and did like the traditional crochet wrap it, but this time I've seen girls do it a little bit differently nowadays, so I wanted to try that. So I'm going to show y'all the technique that I've been using. Before we start getting into the rest of my head, I want to show you guys the hair that I'm using. It's the first time that I'm using the hair that I have to wrap and the actual faux lock. So this is what the package looks like. It is, hope you can see, Bobbi Boss. This is a distressed butterfly lock, which is really interesting because it almost, let me show you off the pack, it looks kind of like a twist, kind of like a faux lock. We got some curly ends and the traditional crochet at the top. So that's what we have as the actual lock hair. And if you've never had faux locks before, honestly, it became one of my favorite styles because one, the texture of my real hair, I feel like it blends well. Also, they don't have to look neat. Honestly, if they look messy, especially when they came out with the butterfly locks, oh, the messier the better. And that made it easy for a girl like me to do it herself. So the hair that I'm using to twist, it came in a 3-pack like this. I've already used almost 2 full packs. I still have a good bunch of the second bundle, and I've used that for the whole back half. So I'm not anticipating needing to get more, but if so, that's fine too. But it is this Soft and Natural Bob Spring Twist. It's a 6-inch. Now this is a crochet spring twist, which I don't know if I realized that or not. I just saw 6 inches and was like, that'll be fine because it's not evenly distributed when I'm putting in there. So, but it looks like this. So a little spring twist, has the loop because it's crochet. So I do have to untwist this and like feather it a little to get it how I want. Some hair you can buy spring twist hair that's already feathered, like it's not twisted like this. That would be much easier. It doesn't really bother me. It's just an extra step. So if you don't want to do that, then don't get that hair. And because we kind of wanted to have that goddess boho feel, I do have this. I just already had. It's by Made Beauty, and it is just a water wave. It's an 18-inch water wave. And I don't think I mentioned, but the butterfly locks I have is 18 inches, which they actually end up being a little bit longer, and I'll show you why. So as far as like the base, typically on a normal occasion, I would part and braid my own hair. Well, typically I would part and twist it because braids take me a very long time to do. So I would just twist it. But in this case, I had a friend do it for me. Thank God for her, because I'm actually going out of town on a vacation. So I really wanted my parts to be clean and crisp. No problem doing it yourself. If you don't know how to part, there's plenty of videos on here. Not like on my page, but there's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do that. I think if you get that 360 mirror, makes it easy, which I'm gonna have to invest in that at some point. But yeah, so my hair is already like sectioned and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is start working on this first half, and I'm gonna show you guys the technique that I've been using for this particular style. And honestly, it's really been trial and error because some of them have looked a little janky. Like this one, I feel like I need to wrap some more hair because it's a little bulky here. But yeah, and the only other thing you're gonna need is a latch hook. So first things first, we probably could have braided this down a little bit more. Maybe I could have, whatever. So I'm going towards the end. I don't want to go right here because it's gonna come right through. And let me zoom y'all in. Okay, so you don't want to go too close to the end of where you braid it. Now if you braid it all the way down, more power to you. I didn't think that was necessary. So I'm gonna go like just above where it ends so my hook can't come out. So this is the thing that I've been doing that's a little different than what I've done in the past. I've always gone in through the root, but it can get a little bulky on the root when you do it that way. So I guess this is giving like knotless faux locs. Okay, so I put the end of my faux loc in there and I'm pulling it through that spot of the braid. I'm not pulling the faux loc through because it's so distressed, and when I pull the faux loc through, I'm like messing it up. And I don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna pull my hair through the loop and just kind of tighten. Okay, I'm gonna do this again so y'all can see, but just tighten. Don't pull too, you know, you just want both of these pieces like that. And then the one thing that I do, because I could leave it like this and just wrap all the way down, but I don't like thinking about where my, well, you have to think about where your hair is because you want to make sure you wrap towards the end. My hair stops right about here, so I keep that in mind. But I'm gonna take my crochet hook and I'm just pushing it up this. Honestly, it's not perfect. It don't need to be perfect, but I just want to grab my hair and pull it down through this. It's not going to be perfect. You can definitely still see my hair through it a little bit, but because this faux loc texture is similar to my texture, you can see it, but like it don't really matter. So I'm just pulling it down. I have a little piece out right here. I need to put on a white shirt because I don't know if y'all can see, but I have a little piece of my hair out right here, but for the most part it's in this. You see what I'm saying? So now when I go to wrap the hair down, it's not like I'm trying to cover my hair, because I feel like when that is the case, then it's just so much wrap. Like I even feel like back here, you see how it's just like so tightly wrapped right there? I don't know if I really like that, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. So now this hair, I find like where it's separated, like I'm just twisting it like that to find the opening and popping it open and doing like that. So it's really not taking me no extra time. I do think a hair that's not pre-twisted would be easier. And then I'm just kind of pulling it apart, The cool thing is this one end is always a little like skinnier, and that's the end that that's the part that I'm going to wrap down, because it'd just be easier to finish it off than this thick piece down here. This is the piece that's going to be wrapped, if that makes sense. So I'm just getting a little piece that'll make it easier to grab on the hook. And now we're going to go through the root. So now we've gone through the root and I'm grabbing that piece, pulling it through. Okay, so I keep a shorter end and I want it to be just a bit longer than where we hooked my hair through midway down the little braided part. So now you see one side is shorter, one side is longer, and honestly now you just wrap. I definitely make sure to give a good tight wrap at the base, and obviously we want to cover our hair that's braided, and then eventually we're going to get to the piece that is where we attach that hair, and you just want to make sure to cover that good because we don't want that part completely exposed. If it's a little bump in it, or honestly I don't care about that because locks aren't meant to be especially distressed like butterfly type style, they're not meant to be perfect. So as I'm wrapping down, I'm not wrapping evenly. I'm honestly just wrapping. Sometimes I use my thumb to like pull out little pieces because I want it to match this as I come down. Here obviously it's a little more concentrated, but I'm just wrapping down. And remember, my hair was about here, so I make sure to cover that little piece that was out. And then I'm honestly, let me zoom you out. And now I'm just wrapping down to, I can't wrap anymore. And I literally have, I don't even know if you could see, it's like a couple strands. And then once I can't wrap anymore, I just do a little palm roll and that's it. So it's a nice skinny start because you know your hair is not starting that thick like that. So it's a nice skinny start into the twist, and then these I'll kind of like fluff a little bit, and that's it. So I'm going to zoom you in again and we'll do this one together. I think this one you'll be able to see a little bit more, and then we'll kind of speed through the rest. I'll come back to you guys once we get to the top. But so remember, we want to come a little ways down on our braid, not to right here on the braid where it's not braided anymore. And honestly, again, if you braid it all the way down, you can ignore this. You can put it wherever you want, but I'm gonna just come right here and then grab a lock, and I am gonna go right through the hoop, close it, okay? It's closed, and now I'm gonna pull it right through. So we're coming right through that braid, and with the faux lock still on the hook, I'm just gonna grab some of my hair. Don't really matter where you grab it at, but I have my hair now in there, and I'm pulling my hair through. So now I just pull them apart to tighten, and now I have the faux lock and my hair. And then remember, I like to just thread my hair through, so I'm really just pushing, and you can see some parts, you can see the hook through the hair. It doesn't matter. I just want it so that I'm not completely wrapping my hair. My hair is just kind of intertwined in there, and I do that most of the ways down. Again, grabbing my hair, pulling it through, so there's like a little piece of my hair sticking out, but most of my hair is in the braid. That just makes life easier for me. Okay, so I got that in there, and I just leave it chilling in there while I prep this hair. So again, I twist it and just kind of find an opening, and then I just pull it open like that. It don't gotta be perfect because I'm stretching it out anyway, so it don't really matter. But again, if you have hair that's already separated, that would be easier, because this is not like, each one don't come out like super easy. And then we are just pulling some pieces apart, stretching it. Sometimes it get a little knotted, a little janky, and that's okay. So this is just what this is what it's looking like. Okay, so I always start towards the end. I'm just twisting right here, because remember, the pieces that we're pulling through is not that even. So the piece I twisted, I'm hooking it on there, closing the loop, and we're pulling it. And remember, this one is at the root now. Now we're at the root, and I just need a little bit. I need it to come like just past, maybe just past where the root is, especially because we want that thickness right there. And then I just start wrapping it around the shorter part, and where my braid is, And once I get to where we added the faux loc, I like to make sure it's spread open, so I'm like covering it good. Because if you don't make sure it's feathered, then it's just like digging into the loc. And you see it's not like perfectly like slender all the way down, but I'm okay with that. That's not a big deal for me. And then I'm truly just wrapping as we go. And my hair is coming out right here. And then obviously we're just covering that. Covering that, and then as we go down, there's my hair is already covered. We're just using up the rest of this. And then again, like we had that skinny piece that we kept like that, and that's gonna make it easier for me to kind of like finish it. So we literally have like the smallest little piece left. Cool. I don't do anything special. Roll it, and there we go. And it will stay. If it doesn't stay, the beauty of it is it's a messy situation. You can just get some more spring twist hair and just kind of wrap it right there, tie it in a knot, and I don't, you know, but that's it. So that's this piece, and I do really love how it's skinnier up here because it's giving like fresh retwist vibes. Maybe no, but yeah. So I am going to breeze through the rest of this, and then when we come back, I'll show you another one. Okay, update. Ran out of hair, ran back to the store, got two things actually. I got this hair, which this is twisted up spring twist, and this is how many inches? I actually don't know how many inches this is. I think it's, doesn't say. It doesn't say. I think, I don't know. It doesn't say. But I actually like this more. So this is, and let me just show you. So it comes like this. So like my other one I had was twisted. So it's a few inches longer than the other one I had because the other one was already twisted. This one is just loose. So I'll go ahead and do another one. I also got another type of hair to do the, I just grabbed something different. This is Free Tress Water Wave 22 inch. I just grabbed that because I felt like the Lusty Water Wave from the Made Beauty is just a smidge lighter, I mean a smidge looser curl pattern wise. And because the ends of this is so curly, also because hair that's typically naturally locked would not be that loose. So it's all fake anyway, but that's what I got. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do one together now that we're up at the top. Okay, so again, just putting it somewhere in that braid up top, latching it on, and let me zoom you in. Okay, so we already put our hook somewhere through that braid. Doesn't really matter where, doesn't have to be the same on each one. And then I'm looping the lock on, closing it, pulling it through. I'm not going to pull it all the way through, I'm just twisting this to make it easy. And I'm going to loop my hair on there now, pull that through, and just pull it tight. Okay, so now we have my hair and the lock here, and then like I did previously, I'm just snaking this up. Does not have to be perfect. Grabbing my hair and pulling it through, and I'm gonna do that until I only have to do it twice. So because I don't think I explained this part, but obviously if I know my hair is this long, I start a little ways down and then pull it through. So just snaking up here. Again, it does not have to be perfect. This is just so that when I'm wrapping the hair around, I'm not doing so much to try to hide my hair because it's already kind of intertwined. So just a little bit of my hair is left out. Now we're gonna go through the base right at the root, and now we're gonna add in this hair. So the thing I like, this hair, all I have to do is kind of like go like this, and it kind of just already like feathers it. I don't have to do a lot to it, but I like to pull on it because you don't want a blunt end. You want it to kind of be uneven, so as you're wrapping down, you don't have these super blunt pieces because it's not going to wrap easily, or it's not going to stick at the bottom. Okay, so I have about, I don't know, a couple inches there, but the length of it on one side. So a really short piece and a long piece, and I just like twist it just to make it easier to hook on. So now it's hooked, pulling it through. Doesn't take much because one side is shorter. And there's really also no rhyme or reason to how long I leave it. It doesn't need to be long. And then I'm grabbing the short piece, the lock. The long piece is what we're wrapping around. So we definitely want to cover this braided section that's out for sure. We want to cover that. So we want to give a good wrap on that. I'm trying not to do it too tight, but enough to secure it. Then I start to like open this up because I want to, this fat piece where we attached the lock, I just want to make sure to get a good cover on that. And now that that's covered, I still have a little bit of short piece, still holding on to that. I'm just wrapping, and it's not perfect, so it's not like a tight wrap, it's just kind of like a spiral case down. When I get to the end of this, I will wrap it a little tighter together just to cover that. But so right where the hair ends, I just wrapped it a little tighter to cover that in, and then I'm just wrapping it down. Does not have to be perfect, and I'll like use my thumb to like feather a little bit more as we go. You can use your thumb to like pull out extra pieces, so it'll be a little distressed like that. And then I'm just continuing to go down. If you get, so let me zoom out. If you get to the bottom and you have like so much hair, like now we're down to that curly piece, and I don't want to cover that. I'm just reversing the direction and I'm wrapping up. So I try to make sure that shorter side is short enough so that I don't have to, or is long enough on the short side so that I don't have to do that. But sometimes it doesn't happen, and that's fine. Okay, so this is where we're at with it. And then sometimes I just kind of twist it around. And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna finish now that I have all the hair that I need, and we'll talk again once I'm done. All right, so I'm officially done. Done. They look good. We can see the ends. Stand up so you can see. Lengths vary because we just kind of did it how we wanted to do it. Only thing about Faux Locs is the hair that just kind of like snags, but we still love her. Okay, one little trick that I like to do is if I feel like this part is like a little bulky, this section is just a little fat, and I just want to tighten it up, I'll take some of the spring twist hair and I kind of just I might pull out a real thin piece like that. And let's do this one. So let me zoom in. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not crocheting it. I'm literally putting it behind the braid, okay, or behind the lock. And I'm kind of holding one side with the lock, and this will kind of wrap like the other side did. And I'm just gonna start wrapping it around that fat piece just to kind of cinch it in. Then eventually I grab both sides together, so now I have each end, and I'm just kind of flattening this bulky piece. I'm just flattening it, and I'm wrapping down, wrapping up, because I don't really need this to wrap the length of my hair. I just don't want this piece as bulky. And I'm just wrapping it until I can't wrap the hair anymore. Okay, so now we see that's not as bulky. And then I just kind of go through and do that for some of them as I see fit. And also that's what you can do to kind of like freshen up your locks as the weeks go by. It's been some days. It's been a lot of days, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I'm just now about to add these curly pieces. So I'm gonna add a few to the back and just go from there. I don't want too many curly pieces. And honestly and truly, me being me, I would just add them to the front, but I feel like at some point, obviously I'm gonna do half up, half down, blah, blah. I don't want it to look weird. I told y'all I had that other hair, but I think I'm gonna just use this one. We'll just use this hair here. Okay, so we've made it to the front half at least. But I just, okay, you can't really see it. I'm scared to put too many. I'm gonna focus them more in the front anyway. So I'm going right through the base like we did with the hair that we wrapped. And then I'm gonna pull a piece out of this. Not too big because it's almost gonna be like doubled. So like this, but together it'll be whatever. So I have like this little, thin piece, and I'm trying to, it's a little harder to get it on the hook with these smaller pieces. Okay, but I have it on the hook now. Closing it, pulling it through. This is honestly like the easiest part. And then pull it. I have been doing just to kind of like, because this hair is 22 inches. So I don't want it to be too long or like longer than the locks anyway. And then I'm just spraying this on it, and that gives it like a little sprucing up. And that's it. I shouldn't have worn a black shirt. That's it. Okay, so I think I put as much curls in it as I am going to. I mean, okay, it's kind of empty in this, but I feel like you see them in there. I don't want it to be, it's already a lot of lock. I don't want to overload it with curls, but I feel like they're in there and they're subtle. I will do my edges at some point. I'm not really worried about that. But I got jewelry. If there's one thing I'm gonna do, it's put some jewelry. So I have a bunch of stuff. I have the traditional little purple one situations. There's some silver ones in there. This is like a bead with like a heart. I don't know. I have more of the traditional hair jewelry with C. I think I'm gonna go all silver, but I do have like some little seashells. I have some little beads that I'm gonna slip on, which those are easy because you just can slide them up and most times they just stay. But then I also have more beads. I have these, which are so cute, like marble situation, and then some blue ones. So there's gonna be no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just gonna put them in. I'm not gonna show y'all that because I don't really think that's important to show you. So I'm just gonna do them and then I'll come back one last time and we'll talk about everything once it's all done.